So I've begun recording this. This is where it will start. The video will start unedited, so it's going to have all of my ums and ahs and where I lose my train of thought and that sort of thing. It's just the way it goes. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I want it to be here. Here's our lesson 11. So I'm presuming everyone can see this okay. This is my working file, but it's also equivalent to the final file. So what I want to review, I'm not going to do it from scratch again, but I'll review all of the salient points, is that first off, in order to edit video in Photoshop, which I have previously stated is very similar to Adobe Premiere. It's sort of a pared down version of Premiere, which is Adobe's video editing software, similar to what Apple has would be Final Cut. It's their answer to video editing, to professional video editing. So in order to see the timeline down here, which means if you want to edit video, you have to see the timeline since this takes place over time. You have to go up to the flyout window up here. And instead of essentials, instead of 3D, instead of painting, instead of photography, what we want to do is make sure that motion is selected. Because if I look at this in the essentials, you don't see the timeline. And that would be the same for any of these other desktop configurations. So I want motion. And that provides the timeline for me. You can, if we look at the timeline below, what we can see is that there's a playhead here that we can scrub through, and we can drag it across to see how our video is playing. Okay. You also have a playhead to the left. Okay. You can rewind. You can play it from here. There you go. Okay, so I can rewind, go all the way back to the beginning, or I can scrub through it, which is done pretty commonly to do. We also have layers within our video. So you'll notice, for example, the text layer that we have at the top, okay, where it says beach day, is, I'm gonna go ahead and stretch that out a little bit, is on a separate layer above our image of the family, okay? Another thing that you should note, I can go ahead and I can twirl this down so we can see the keyframes that have been added, okay? And there is only one keyframe. Why is that? Let me go ahead and select this. I don't see the end keyframe. I don't know why. That's the way it goes. Oh, here it is. Keyframe is back here. I'm going to go ahead and push it here. This is where the keyframe should be. So I have a keyframe that starts the action with a movement in the upper right-hand corner. And then I have a keyframe at the left, which is where it ends. And actually, I want to change that keyframe, and I'm going to move this over here a little bit more. Hold down the Shift key to bring that across. There you go. So by reducing the duration of the video, it affected my keyframes. Now, if I scrub through it, I can see that it plays through nicely. It does what I want. But in order to edit those keyframes, you need to move over here and select. We can select from here this little button that's right to the left of the title of the video, Beach Day. And that will allow me to edit these keyframes. If you want to add a transform keyframe, you simply click here, and that will enable you to do that. So for example, if I wanted to move the text down from here, like so, notice that it automatically added a keyframe. So now when I play this across, and I scrub through it, it will play from right to left, and notice that it's gradually moving below, and it already automatically creates what are called the tweens. And then when it hits the bottom, it bounces back up and ends where it was before. If I want to get rid of that keyframe, I just simply click on it and hit delete, and it is gone. And the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So instead of it bouncing below, it just goes straight across. So these are our keyframes. And what we can also do in here is, in addition to editing or creating video, we can import video clips, which need to be MP4 files. We can also bring in still images, which is what we've done in this particular exercise. And the size of those are determined by the screen size that we've chosen. In our particular instance, if I go to image size up here, you can see that in inches, it's almost 20 inches wide by 10 inches high, 72 pixels per inch. Video only needs to be at 72 pixels per inch. But if we look at the dimensions in pixels, it's 1280 by 720. So that is the high def resolution or size that we've chosen for our video for this particular exercise. So that's what we have there. So if you want to import any of your own images, they need to be that size or a little bit bigger. If I'm done with this particular clip up here, which I am, I'll twirl that back up, and that also closes. I can open that or close it from here as well. Now, if I want to edit the videos, clips, and still images down here, that's a different story altogether. What you need to do is I twirl that down. Again, I can transform which means the movement of it from left to right or top to bottom. I can transform or change over time the opacity, or a style change can be made as well to any of these clips, whether they be still or they be video clips. If we look to the right in our layers panel, if you number them correctly, they will move in and be imported in the numerical order. And they have done that for us. They started with family, but it was labeled number 1, family, number 2, boat ride, and so on and so forth, so that when they were imported, they came in that order. However, if I choose to change the order of them, I just simply move one clip to the left or to the right. But that too, if you're not careful, will screw up the transitions that we've added. So it might behoove you to remove the transitions first. And then if you need to move or you want to change the order of the video clips and the still images, you can just by clicking and dragging them and place them in the order that you want. So that's something that you can do. But back to editing them, if I want to remove, for example, a transition, you just simply select it and hit delete, and that's gone. If I click here, I can delete. If I click here, I can, and then hit the delete button. I can also change how this is stretched out on the screen, depending on the size of monitor you have. So by moving this, sliding this to the left, I can make it shorter. By sliding it to the right, I can lengthen it. So let me go ahead and remove all of these transitions. Change the order of the video clips. We can also look at the duration of them as well. If you recall from last week, one of the things that we did is we shortened all of the clips so that they, in fact, were all 3 seconds in length. So if I click on this one, notice that when I move over the right, I can stretch it out and make it a little bit longer. To find out the duration of that, if I click the little arrow in the upper right-hand corner, and make sure that it's on the video clip, it will tell me the duration and it will tell me the speed. Something that I forgot to mention to the other class, and this one as well, last week, is that you can change the speed. You can speed it up or you can slow it down to get kind of a slow motion effect or an accelerated effect. If I want to change this back to 3 seconds, I can either do that from here, or I can just simply type in 3 seconds and hit the tab key, and it changes it back to 3 seconds. Move it down. And that's all we did to the video clips in here. And there's 2 video clips. So if I hide that, deselect, click on this one, and make this one visible, these 2 video clips have no keyframes added to them, but notice on the second video clip that what we did add, and if we look at the layers panel, this is something that I mentioned last week, that what we can also do is you can add whatever filter you would add to a still image, you can add to a video as well. And that's what we did. We added a black and white filter. So if I bring that up, you'll notice that we have a black and white filter. And what I did is I added, in addition to that, a color tint. You can turn that off so it remains black and white, and we can play with all the settings on there, just as you would with a still image. And we'll turn that back on. So that's something else that you might want to consider for the still or video image, the video clips that you add, is that in each of the layers, where they exist, you can add filters to those or adjustment layers and adjust the opacity. You can adjust anything that you can adjust to a still image, you can adjust to a video clip. Okay. Where this guy moves up and down, same principle was added, was done to him. And you'll see that we have a keyframe here, which is in order to add a keyframe. Let me go ahead and remove these for a minute so you can see what happens here. And I'll do this one again from scratch. Okay, so now if I play this across, he doesn't move anywhere. But if I want him to move up, you need to move the playhead where you want the action to start. And then I'll go ahead and I'll add transform, and it adds the keyframe. Now I can go ahead and I can move the playhead to the end or wherever you want the action to change or transform. And now I'll move him up using the move tool. As I move him up, I hold down the shift key and make sure that he moves straight up. And as I do that, you'll notice that it automatically added a keyframe at the very end. So now when I scrub back and forth, he moves up. He goes from bottom down here all the way back up. Okay. So we've added a number of features to each one of these clips. Not all of them, but we have shortened them all to the same length. That was the one thing that we did in each of these. I'm going to go ahead and close that up. Deselect that. And then one of the last things that we did is that we added transitions. Because now when we play from one clip to another, it's just a jump cut from one to another. And we wanted a little bit more elegant kind of transition. And the transitions are found up here. And the one that we used was crossfade. So if you select crossfade and you just drag it and place it between each of the clips, it adds it. And again, if you want to change, you can hold down the control key and click on it. And that will allow you to change the transition here to another one if you wish. It will also allow you to change the duration. For our exercise, I don't recommend that you change it and make it any more than, wait a minute, what did I do here? Okay. Let me delete it and do that again. I don't recommend that you make it for a length any greater than 1 second, because each of the clips are only 3 seconds. So that would kind of eat into quite a bit of the time. Let's go back again. Just dragging this in between each one of these. There we go. And then at the very end, what I wanted to do is I wanted to fade to black at the very end. That's all. So now when I play the playhead across here, it just fades to black. So that's an option. And we did the same thing for the audio track down here. I'll go ahead and I'll get rid of it. And I'll import the audio again. And to do that, you just simply click here, add audio. Over here in the audio track layer, this little down arrow, add audio. And for audio, the file format that it requires is an MP3. So I need to make sure, I did it again. It's not going directly to my lessons. So I'm going to undo that because I don't remember where I placed my lessons. I'm just going to hit Command Z. Anyway, you find the MP3 file, select it, it imports it, and what we did here, if you recall from last week, is that the length of our MP3 file, the sound in the background, exceeded the length of our video. So what I simply did is I moved the playhead to the very end, and I used the scissors here to cut the extra sound away, and I selected it and hit the delete key to remove it. The last thing, one of the last things that we did here is we added a fade out, and right now it's set to 1.5 seconds, and that's fine, so that will fade out. Okay. And one of the other things that we did is that I'll play this for you to show you, not all of it, but just to play part of it, to show you what we did here. If I play this, you only hear the background music and nothing else. But before we, at the very onset, what we did is if we switch from video to audio, notice that I muted the audio for the video clips that we added. So if I turn off mute and I do that again, if I scrub back across here and I play it again, not only will you hear the background sound, but you'll hear the sound from the movie, the video clip itself. So I'll play it again. So if you want to leave that in, be my guest. But for this exercise, we clicked on the little right button here, made sure that sound was selected, and we muted the sound. But notice in other situations, if you need to increase or decrease the volume of the video in that clip, you can do that to equalize all of it. You can fade the video in and fade it out if you wish as well. So that's another option. I believe I've hit all the main salient points of this lesson. Again, the last thing that you want to do is make sure that you have saved it as a Photoshop file. But realize that when it is saved as a Photoshop file, it has its limitations. That if you wish to post it on social media or use Vimeo or YouTube or anything else for that matter, those sites will not accept the Photoshop file. So you have to export it as an MP4 file. Those are the only file formats that it will accept. So to export it or to render the video, once you've saved it as a Photoshop file, then you go to File, and you go to Export, and then down here near the bottom, it says Render Video. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're rendering all the frames. So I'm down here at the bottom looking at that. If you only want to render a portion of the video, you can do that. So if you want to render just a segment of it, you can select which frame to start and which frame to end. You can also select a different quality. We're leaving all the default settings in this particular exercise. And then all you have to do is click render, and wherever you've saved your Photoshop file is where it will save the MP4 file. It's that file that, for example, if you wish to burn this video onto a DVD or upload it to YouTube, that you need. So I'll cancel that since we've already done that. I'm going to go ahead and turn off stop sharing and see if there are any questions. I said this would be pretty much a short day for us today. Is there anything that you guys want to add or have any questions? No questions? Yeah, okay, we got a chat here. Oh, Ashley, okay, Ashley Morose. Okay, hold on. I got to add you to the roll here. You have a question? Go ahead, Ashley. You want me to, I can allow you to talk if you want. There you go. Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
I'm sorry, but I don't remember which was the last lesson I turned in. So would I be able to email you about that, or?
I don't remember either. Wait a minute. I think I can find out. Hold on 1 second here. There's also a Q&A here. Malik, you said that you need to turn in a cert this Thursday. What if I've been working on, yeah, if you've been working on a movie poster instead, Malik, that's okay. Because you're in the advanced class, so that's totally up to you. Okay? Is that cool? Did you hear that? So hold on, Ashley, let me look real quick and see. Okay, Ashley, according to my records, I'm still missing lesson 3, lesson 5, and the last one that I have checked off is lesson 8. Does that help you? Or no? So I still need 3, 5, 9, and 10, and now we're working on lesson 11, so that one. If you already have them, the way that you're going to show them to me now is you're going to create a folder inside. Let's do that so I can show you. I'm going to share a different folder here. Hold on here. I don't want this. I want to select Google Drive. There we go. So hold on. I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to share again a different screen. There we go. So everybody can see the Google Drive folder, I presume? Okay. Yeah, and the question from, let's see, the same with you, Luis, hold on. Let me see what lessons you're missing. And Carlos, let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and answer live to yours. Yeah, the movie poster, Carlos, you just simply put in Google Drive, and that's what I'm showing you now. So this is our all of my folders for my classes. The one that we have here is Art 192, Tuesday, Thursday, spring 2020. If I double click in here, you'll notice that most of you have created a folder for yourself. If you've created a folder for yourself, then make sure that you put all of your lessons in that folder and that you put all of your assignments in that folder as well. Okay, so for example, at random, I'm going to select Crystal, double click on Crystal's, and you can see that she has most of her lessons in here. She also has in here, Crystal added her selfie photo bomb assignment. So I can simply look in here and I can check off the lessons, and up until now, you should have a grade for all of your assignments. The one that you don't have will be the movie poster. And then you don't have, obviously, a grade for your final assignment yet. Does that help all of you? I hope. Let's see, there's another question here. Yeah, yeah, Carlos, you upload the file, the original Photoshop file. And if you don't have, I gotta move this other menu around here. If you don't have a folder in here, you have to create one. And to create one, you simply hold down the control button on your keyboard and click on here, and it says new folder. Click on new folder and name it your name. And then you can go ahead and drag files inside it, and I will see them, and it will be all separated rather than open like they are down here. And if you do see them out here, then go ahead and move them inside your folder. So for example, Marcel, I'm going to move this one in here. I'm going to go ahead and control click on this, and it asks me if I want to move it. It says move to, and I want it to move to Marisol's folder. So I'm going to move it to M. Pimenta folder. So I'm going to move it in there. Okay, move. And there you go. It disappears from here. But then when I go back up here, yeah, I got to move this around a little bit. Let's find Marisol's again. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. So if I double click here, you'll notice that I put it inside your folder. So make sure that you have all of your lessons in here. Don't assume that I have them checked off. Just put any of them in that you've completed. And the same with your assignments. And that will be true for the movie poster as well. Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and answer live. Natalie, just to be on the safe side, go ahead and put all of them, even if I have them checked off. Put them in that folder. And yeah, Marisol, you asked the same question. Just to be on the safe side, go ahead and put them all in. If you're missing them and I already have them checked off, then not to worry. But in my Monday, Wednesday class, there was an issue that for some reason, my application crashed and I was missing some. So don't assume that I have them all. Okay. So I can go through some of them and I can tell you that, Luis, I only have lessons 1 through 5 checked. Marisol, I have lessons 1 through 7 checked. And again, if there are more that should be checked that aren't, again, there was a glitch. For some reason, they were not saved. That's why I said, don't assume that I have them completed. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and go back. Does that answer everybody's questions, or do you have more? Yes, no? Let's go back here. Okay, Luis, I answered yours. And yeah, you got it. Okay, Marisol. Yes, Marisol, it would be better if you would please put some credits at the bottom of your movie poster. It doesn't exist for all movie posters, but as part of my assignment, I would rather that you do that, just to factor that in as a part of your design. And again, if you don't have, you can create them from scratch, or you just simply do a Google search and type in movie poster credits and then look at images, and you'll see a whole slew of them that you can download. The best ones are the ones that are, I mean, most of them are white and black, but the best ones are the PNG files that have transparent backgrounds. And you can just download those and drag them onto your movie poster and resize them as needed. Okay. Are we good? Any more questions? Got another one here? Okay. Ronald, you want to know what yours is? Ronald, I have lessons 1 through 9 checked. So I need 10, and then we're working on 11. And the last one we'll do is lesson 12. Okay, you got that? Anybody else? No? Short class today? So on Thursday, I'm going to start lesson 12. And again, that we'll kind of stretch that out and cover it over a couple of days. And then next week, depending on how many movie posters I get, I plan on having an informal critique. Okay. Any more questions? Again, I said, it's best if you don't assume that I have lessons checked off or I have yours. Go ahead and just put them in the folder. It doesn't hurt. It's a good way of backing up your files anyway. Okay, are we done for today? If we are, then and there aren't any more questions, then you're free to leave and I will end our meeting. Okay.